Good morning, Rabbi Isai. Leading Nishmat Simi Rosi Rusmas Mordechai. Lezekh Nishmat Zarav Leo Shragit Tzvi Ben Chaim Dov. Hirsh Lewitan. On his second Yartzeight by his children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren, the neshama should have an aliyah. Official catering is going to match the highest donation given towards the Gemara campaign. So if you thought of ever giving to MDY, although it's not an MDY initiative per se, but you could donate the money to MDY and MDY will forward the money. So now's a good time. Official catering from Baltimore. Let's go, Nachman. Nachman says 20. Anybody else? 20, maybe he said 20 Gemaras. I didn't hear what he said. He said something, I heard 20. Listen, he did it to me in Shul. I can do it to him now. Yeah, we're not going to go there. That was a crazy story. That's a Wistaria. Okay. Another very important. Once we're talking, I need to do some housekeeping. So my son is getting married in Mirz Hashem August 1st in Chicago. And there's a lot of confusion. A lot of people want to buy tickets. Before you buy tickets, hear me out here. The Chassan and Kala requested a very, very small wedding. They're hardly letting me invite people. I'm paying for the wedding, but... So before you buy tickets, I think it's better if we do something in New York, like a Shavuot Brachas kind of thing. We'll leave the Chasana nice and small and intimate in Chicago. I appreciate all the people reaching out. They want to come. I get it. My other Chasana, my daughter, when she got married, we invited the whole world, and that's the way I like it. But I have to respect the Chassan and Kala. So it is what it is. I apologize, but if somebody really, really wants to be Mishtatef, we're going to Be'ez Hashem do a matzav in New York, like a Shavuot Brachas over there. Shabbos Shavuot Brachas there, but we'll do probably like a Thursday night for the Olam, so the Olam could be Mishtatef. And you might be there also, you sure know? No? It's before. Huh? I am telling you to crash? Whatever, you'll see. There'll be security, I'm sure. All right. Rabbi, I want to show you something very interesting. This goes back a while. We know last night there's a new prime minister in Israel, in case you live under a rock. So a year ago, more, this is Avi Kamiansky with the prime minister, Naftali Bennett, on a flight. But what's interesting about this is Naftali Bennett is the first prime minister of Israel that does MDY daf. Here's the proof. Here he is learning the daf. Now, if he actually was learning the daf, he wouldn't be the matzav that he is right now. He used to do the daf. I don't know what kind of seam you're talking about. This is from Mati Middeldorf, sitting to my right. It's a picture of two guys sitting to my right. I don't know why we have the picture, but as it is. I've been coming to the daf for about 1.5 years, and he goes on to say something interesting. I don't even know what. All joking aside, thank you. I should read it? He's over there. Something about Bilyak. Thank you for all the new friendships, of course, learning that I've never did before. My son asked me why I come. I go to bed at 3 a.m. Why do I bother? I told him I learn a lot more than I would otherwise, but for me, more important than learning is you being a good friend and a role model. Come here, Mati, come here. You teach us all how to prioritize life and live life as a professional, successful mensch. Thank you for being you. P.S. attaches a picture of Chesky Baum. Chesky likely didn't open the Gemara in 30 years either. He's not only hooked on your socks, but on the shear as well. I caught him a couple times taking pictures of my socks during shear. He's very busy. So he said it's okay to say. I didn't print it. Why should I show a picture of my socks? Here are my socks. Show a picture of my socks. Okay. Rabbi, what's his name? I remember this guy. He actually sponsored the Turn the Daf, and he said smile. What was the guy's name? I remember I recognized his email. Ush Food. Hi Rebelli, I want to share with you. Me and Yeshua chatted. I want to let you know how appreciated I am of you doing this daf shir. Daily participant on YouTube. I want you to know that I'm sure a lot of people can appreciate what you're offering with all the visual charts. Thanks so much for everything. Make a great day. Here's my chat with Yeshua. You remember this guy? He was at Tzaddik, I think from Muncie, but I didn't see him in Muncie. I had to get together. Next, from Ari Davis. Dear Eli Shlita, the MDY team, and all the London are daily daffing. Today I saw pictures and heard the Dr. Fact in the breakfast in London, all because of Shlomi Leitner. We need to get all the London Chaver together. It wasn't enough, he's saying, that those 10 guys got together. I've spoken with Shlomi and Dove, and we're all in agreement to get this going. There's a WhatsApp group, but currently it only has 25 participants. We need to get a more comprehensive group for the London Daffers. Somebody also sent in that maybe some people don't have WhatsApp. Maybe it should be more of an email thing. Please, can all London Chaver message Yosef or Ari Davis on 07966 418-419 so they can be added to the group. We'd all love to make a grand get-together, maybe a CM2. Rebelli, I was in Manchester recently and I met someone who said, "Good morning, Rabbi Isai." We instantly felt like family. He heard a previous email I wrote to you. Do you know people talk about you even when purchasing glasses, spectacles in ICU in Manchester? Okay. Never before has anything brought you from all walks of life together like a strong magnet. It's unbelievable. Keep up the amazing work and look forward to meeting you soon. Call Tuv, Ari Davis, Golden Screen, London. Okay. One more. This is also a guy from England. Yossi Saunders, as reveling your fake goat, and Yosef revels in a computerized goat, I thought I'd take my family to the farm to show them the real thing. Regards, Yossi Saunders. Maybe Yossi, because he's a media guy. He could make a matzav over there. Here's the goat, and here's another kid with 2 goats that they have to be shava. They're twins? How do you know they're twins? I wish that he owns these goats, this kid. All right. Rabbi said, here we go. Today is Daf, Samach Daled, Geshmak Daf. We're holding 5 lines down. So it said in the Mishnah, here's the case in the Mishnah. Person in the Beis Hamikdash, they brought 2 goats, a chatos and azazel. And one of them dies. Let's say the azazel dies. So it says in the Mishnah, you bring 2 more goats, call them nice black goats with blue eyes. And one of them, Hasheni Yira, the second one goes out to graze. What's the second one? Is it? So this guy obviously stays alive until we shech him. This guy we keep. He's instead of him. Or this is the azazel. We not shech him, we throw him off the mountain. But the sheni, Yira, who's the sheni? This guy or this guy? Who's the sheni? He says machlokes. So it says im shel shem meis zeh she'ala alav. So now there's a concept of dachui. If something becomes rejected, you can't use it for the mizbeach. So if something becomes rejected once it's dead, that's a rejection. L'kulam, that's a rejection. So let's say this guy is dead, the shechted, him right over here is shechted. He's shechted and then this one dies. So this one is for sure rejected forever. Why? Because he was dead when his buddy died. But the problem is that he's alive. Is the dicho in Baal Chaim. Something that's alive, could you be doicha and say, push it off and reject it forever? Omarav, sheni shebezug rishon yikrav. He dies, we bring 2 new ones, we're going to take him, one from the first partnership, and we're going to shecht him as a chatos. And what do you do with this guy? Yirachi stuff. So why did you bring him? You brought him so you can have a girl. You don't know which one of the 2 is going to go la'azazel. You need him to throw off the mountain, the cliff. And him, he's going to go Yirachi stuff. Why don't we kill him? put him in a room to die because he's a carbon tzibur. Rabbi Yochanan Omar sheni shebezug rishon yira. Not true. So Nachum Rav says sheni shebezug rishon yikrav. You bring this guy. Sheni shebezug sheni yira. Yeah, I'm talking about Rav. I'm going back to Rav. The second one is yira. And Rabbi Yochanan says the opposite. Sheni shebezug rishon yira. He goes to graze. We don't do anything with him. Why? Because he's nitcha. Sheni shebezug sheni yikrav. And this black goat comes as a carbon. Where is the machlokes? Rav savar bali chayim einon nitchim. So Rav holds that a live animal cannot become dachui. There's a comedian, I don't want to mention his name, who said when he was a kid, all he knew was rejection. Even his yo-yo didn't come back. So yes, how do you know that? He said his name. Rodney. Okay, we're not going to say the whole name. Yeah. No, but somebody in the kollel came over to me and told me a pun. So I connected these two. I'm just doing the connection. He said that a baby goat, is a kid. So we don't reject kids. So he said, Bali Chayim and Indchim, we're talking about the goats, the kid. We don't reject children. We don't reject kids. He was, okay, fine. Take that for what you want. Huh? Exactly. Not Stam, both of them, two of them. Kitzer. There's a line, I think that Breslov uses a lot. Bal yidach mimeno nidach. You know the line? But it's based on a pasuk in Shmooze. It's almost like that. It says the bilti yidach mimeno nidach. The kids are. Because Baruch Hu shouldn't push and reject any of his children. Bali chayim ein nidchim. Rabbi Yochanan savar bali chayim nidchim. Once this guy becomes rejected, because at a certain point in time, when his partner died, he no longer was available for a chatas, because they didn't have both of them together alive. So for that moment, he became a dachui. We had don't quote me on this, but I remember something in a sugya somewhere in Kachim that if a small part of the mizbeach is missing, so you can't bring a carbon. So if you shechted a carbon and then you couldn't put it on the mizbeach, so it became dachui. That was the whole sugya dachui. I think that's what it was. Don't quote me. But anyway, that idea of being rejected momentarily could make you rejected forever, especially over there that the animal's dead. But over here we're talking about a live animal, so this animal is rejected because his partner is no longer here. So even though you go ahead and you bring a new partner, it's too late. He's rejected forever. My time in the Rav, why does he say that there's no rejection? The Yolef man. So Rav, it's attempt number one. We only have two attempts. You have an animal that is not 8 days old. So when it's 7 days old, you try to bring it as a carbon. We say no, it's rejected. Right now, today, he's not available as a carbon. And then later on, when it becomes available, it becomes 8 days old, it does become available. You don't say he's rejected forever. So we're not, okay, so you're going to say the obvious answer, I hope, but I hear you fetching already. Says the Gemara, so over here also, he's alive, just like this 7-day-old animal is alive, and when he becomes 8 days old, he goes from rejected to unrejected. So too by us, this chatos goat from the first group was rejected. As soon as you find him a partner, it becomes unrejected. Midami. What is the connection, says the Gemara? Hasam lois chazi klau. Hacha nirevenitcha. By the baby, the young goat, he was 7 days old. He never had a time in his life where he was available. He just became available. But over here, this goat was available. So it went from available to unavailable to available. That we don't do. One step we'll do. We'll go from unavailable to available. but not available, unavailable, available. Hacha nira v'nitcha. Elaina time the Rav have a better reason for Rav. The yalef mi balmum oiver. If you have an animal that has some sort of mum, let's say it has a broken leg, it's in a cast, so it's a mum, you can't bring it on the mizbeach. But 2 weeks later, it heals from its mum. So that I could bring on the mizbeach. Right now, this minute, it's not available. Why? Because he's in a cast. A broken leg is a balmum, but it's over. He'll get over it. So later on, when he heals, the leg heals, you could bring it onto the mizbeach. Isn't that a case of rejected? And then you are rejected. So over here also, Chadis number 1 is rejected for a few minutes until they go to the store and buy a black goat to make him a partner. And then you can bring him on the mizbeach. Says the Gemara. How do you know that if an animal has a broken leg and you cannot bring him on the mizbeach for 2 weeks? Later on you could. T'chsiv ki mashchasam bohem mumbam. Here's the pasuk, just in case you don't know the end of it. Ki mashchasam bohem mumbam lo yiratzu lochem. So if it has a mum, lo yiratzu lochem. It's no good. So the Gemara darshans, we have 2 words that we can darshan here. The word bohem and the word bam. Mum bam hu de lo yiratzu. When the mum is still in the animal, that's when you can't bring it on the mizbeach. It doesn't say mum. Mum bam. The mum has to, it's not he had a mum, it's he still has the mum right now. He still has the mum right now, you can't bring, but once the mum goes away, it's good. Rabbi Yochanan, miyad rachmana bohem, heimhu d'chi avar mum miratzu. Hakol d'chuyin, hoyel v'nitchu nitchu. You're right. There's a concept of if the mum leaves, then you can use this animal. A rejected animal is unrejected and you can bring on. But the pasuk says mafurish bohem. This whole idea and this concept that I could use a rejection is only in this pasuk alone, but nowhere else in the Torah. So if the rejection happened because the partner died, that's not in the pasuk, so it's rejected. You can't bring it. This pasuk that says that if you have a mum and the mum goes away, even though it's rejected, I can use it. That's a special halacha by mum, and you don't use that halacha in the rest of the Torah. Why? Because of the word bohem. So I saw there was interesting shaila. You had 2 mayalim, and they always fought who's going to do the milah in that little village. So they came up with an idea. It's a true story. They're gonna make a lottery. Whoever wins the lottery does the milah, and then the milah afterwards is the second guy. Welcome back, Shmuel. I haven't seen you in forever. Yeah? He's there every day. I haven't noticed you forever. Where's Benzi Novak? Oh, Benzi Novak, Shalom Aleichem. Yeah. I can't. That's it. I put my foot in my mouth. It's too late. He's insulted to finish. We'll have to do it a different time. Gary, I heard him already. Him, I heard, Baruch Hashem. He lets us know every single day. Yesterday, there was no noise, nothing. All of a sudden, the lights went out. He went over there, turned on and off the lights. Everything was said. Okay, so the 2 mayalim are doing, they're doing a Ma'aser Shaya by Mincha. So the 2 mayalim have this lottery, and unfortunately, the baby. The guy wins the lottery. Mile number 1 wins the lottery. He's all excited. He's going to do the milah. The baby's nifter. And then they start fighting. The 2 milim fight again. And they came to Rav Zilberstein. No, this didn't happen. That's not what happened. There's another Rav. Because you think to yourself, why do all these interesting stories happen to Rav Zilberstein? So no, but this did not happen. This is hundreds of years ago. So it went like it. The guy said, look, you won the lottery. It's too bad. Your baby died. Now it's my turn. He says, no, but I never did the milah. Gives a fight back and forth. So one of the Rabbanim said something, I never heard this. He says, Bali Chaim ein nitchen, the moil is a balchai, he's not nitcha. You can't push him off. I'm telling you, that's what he said. And then came along the Maria Sad, and he said that, also interesting thing, he said that since it's a mitzvah, and you enjoy the mitzvah, so if you have a kavanah to do a mitzvah, and you had an einus, because Baruch is malal kilu aso, so you get the mitzvah, and Mr. Moil number 2 gets to do the second milah and Shalom Yisrael. That's what he passed.
Still do milah on a corpse, on the baby. Still do milah.
Yeah, but that's not the mitzvah. You don't get a mitzvah. Yeah, I don't think it's a mitzvah. Maybe it's a minhag, but it's not like a mitzvah's milah. I want milah on the life. Okay. Zok to Gemara. V'Rav, listen to this halacha. Amazing halacha. Rav says, Ahu bohem, the word bohem doesn't tell me that this halacha of mum, that a rejection only applies to Baal mum. Bohem I use for something else completely. Beinayu deloy mirtzu. That what? That a Baal mum that you can't be makriv is when it's on its own. A very interesting halacha. If a Baal mum gets mixed in with other animals, there's no isim deraisa to put it on the mizbeach. It's only when it's by itself. No. If you can differentiate, then it's not by then it's by itself. I'm saying if you can't, just put into the pile. You don't have the typical isser of it has to be batal b'shishim, whatever. No, it's just mixed in. Now, so what happens if it does get mixed in, and you don't chap that there's a Baal mum in there? If there's a mixture, I think that's a unique halacha in the Torah. Once in a lifetime. Here you go, halacha. You have a davar aser, a Baal mum that should not go on the mizbeach, and there's another piece of meat next to it, 2 more pieces of good meat next to it. You can put all 3 on the mizbeach if you don't know. Midiraisa. Kedisnan evarim temimim be'evarim balimumim. You have what evarim go on the mizbeach? Stand to refresh our memory. Only a noila. That's the only thing that goes on the mizbeach. Evarim temimim be'evarim balimumim. Rebbe Lezer Omer im korav haroy shalechamem yakrivu kol haroyshin kulan. The way this works is, the mechanism is that midairaisa there's no isser here. So what's the isser? Only isser derabbanan. So if by mistake I put one head, I have a pile of heads here, and there's one head that's a Baal mum, and I shouldn't put them on. But midiraisa I could put all of them on. Midirabbanan I shouldn't put any of them on because they made a chumrah here. But I by mistake put on one head, so because it's only isser derabbanan, I'm going to assume that the head I put on the mizbeach was the no good head, was the Baal mum, and then Mela I have reshus to lechatchila put on all the other heads. And the same thing applies to evarim. Yes, yichap. Nachamal. Midaraisa, it's mutter to put this on. Midarabbanan, they said it's aser. So if I put one on by mistake, I'm going to assume that the one I put on by mistake is the no good one, the Rabbanan no good one, the Baal mum, and Memela, that's matter all the other ones. Karvu kulon, chutz me'echel mehem, yeitz lebeis hasreifan. One Chacham say no. If you have 5 heads over here, and you put 4 onto the mizbeach, you cannot put the last one on. You have to assume the last one is a Baal mum, and you can't put it on. This is the Rabbanan. V'idach, it's a great halacha, and he agrees to that halacha. So how does he know this halacha? Nafkalei mibam bohem. Look at this. I just did it a little different. If you look over here, the word is bum. So then why is this word bohem? Bohem, with a hay. So he takes the hay and he darshes from the hay. Extra hay. V'idach bam bohem. Loi darish. He doesn't darshan hays. Okay, listen. Yes, you're Bucky and Shas. Once you see the style, you get the style. If you're watching on YouTube, you have no idea what I just said. There's somebody here that he's showing me that it's pasha. That's okay, fine. That's how it goes. Once you get the style, the Gemara doesn't invent new styles every daf. What? No shtoch. Ask the Gemara according to Rav. Very good. Why do we bring the first one? Because he's a Baal Chai, he's alive, and he's not, you can't reject the live guy. But why force it on the white guy? Seems like racism. Why can't you use this guy? What's wrong? Use anyone you want. So if I want, I can use from the first category. If I want, I can use from the second category. What's the answer? And now we got a freebie. Mamish a freebie. We just learned the sugya word for word 2 days ago. Omar Rava Rav Sovar for the next 2, 4, 6, 7. You can just space out now. You can go on your WhatsApp, do whatever you want. Omar Rav Sovar Lo Reb Yosi the Omar Mitzvah Berishain. There's a special mitzvah when it comes to the first one in line, the first thing that you used. Hey, Reb Yosi, what Reb Yosi are you talking about? Hey, name Reb Yosi the kupais. For this brand new sugya, I have a brand new picture, kupais. Took it out of the Oiz V'Hadar. This is the Lishkas HaTruma over here, and you fill up 3 kupais, and each one has a thing on it. It's not shalish kupais, shalish sayin. Each one is 3 sa. Shubayim Torim is halishka. Because of Aleim Aleph Beis Gimel. This is Aleph Beis Gimel. So if you're already saying Aleph Beis Gimel, it reminds me of the Ma'aseh with the Baal Shem Tov. But I know I'm going to mess this one up. The Chassidim, I'm going to say I'm a big Amoret. There's a guy in Kippur. I don't remember the whole story. I'm just going to say the last part. Somebody knows the story. Yom Kippur, he said, "What are you doing?" And he said, "I'm saying Aleph Beis." I don't know how to read. He says, "By Kadosh Baruch Hu, your Aleph Beis is worth as much as that guy's biggest tefillah." Aleph Beis Gimel, which also reminds me of Rubashkin, because there's a song that I'm not so fond of. Not that the words are bad, just I don't like the niggin. Aleph Beis Gimel. But there's a beautiful story that once I remember Rubashkin, I read something, mamish, a powerful thing. Rubashkin's wife, because when it came out, some people wrote emails, "Oh, you should sit still," whatever. I'm not going into the politics, but this story is powerful. His wife had his hat and kapata on the passenger seat all the years. She said, "He might come home today. I need his hat and his kapata." So, the power of believing. I ate by Meir Koenig this Shabbos for lunch, and he told me that his mother-in-law was there. She has a special dress she never wore for when Mashiach comes, sitting right there, waiting to go. Got to believe. And she is the wife of Rabbi Koenig, the guy that used to be a contractor that built maybe 1,000 apartments here in Ramat Bet Shemesh and lost all his money. And when he lost his money, he sat down and started learning Torah. And he made, I think, over 500 siyumim on Masechtas Shabbos Gemara. 500. He just learns like a machine, day and night. He gets up at 2 a.m. and learns. He finishes it every single week. Masechtas Shabbos. Okay. And with that, they have a son like Meir Koenig, the Gal Adar, in one of the G'daylim Chesed, for real. He's, right? One of the G'daylim Chesed. Okay. Zok the Gemara, what? Zok the Gemara, so why do you put Aleph Beis Gimel? To know which one is first. So when they filled this pushka up first, this is the one they have to go buy korbanos from, right? So again, let's do chazar because we never learned this. This is the room that everybody puts in a half a shekel. Every person in Klal Yisrael puts a half a shekel. With that money, they go ahead and they buy the carbon tamid every morning, every afternoon, and the carbon musaf. So when they need money, they go and they fill up bags. Bag 1, 2, and 3. So you have to use the money from bag 1. Why? Because that's what they filled up first. So you see from here the idea that you're supposed to go with the first. Says the Gemara, Dilma, Shani Osin Debi Idno. To know which one came first. To bring it from it first. Shemitzvah Berishain. There's a mitzvah the first. Dilma. Says the Gemara, no. Dilma Shani Osin Debi Idno. This Chazi Kamaisa, Lois Chazi Besraisa. With the bags, you hear? The first one was filled first. Obviously, you're not going to fill up 2 bags at the same exact. You fill up bag 1, then bag 2. So bag 1 was actually the first. But over here, both of these animals happen at the same time. How do they happen at the same time, Mendy? Huh? So Rashi says something very interesting. And we have to understand Rashi. He says, these two guys become roy at the same millisecond. You know why? Because they only become roy to shecht after you sprinkle the blood of the cow. Going back to the cow now. Now, what if they already sprinkled the blood of the cow? And a chanami. But I want to be good on all cases, says Rashi. Chiddush. We didn't have in the other sugya. Just for that, it was worth it. What makes them simultaneous? The sprinkling of the bull makes these two guys right to bring. So now they're equal. 1 and 2 are exactly identical in terms of, there's no rishon here now. They're both rishon. So it can't be this, because we have a good nafkamina between bags. You can't bring a ride from the bags to our case because it's simultaneous. What happened in Pesach? You have a carbon pesach, you have a shepsela. You're going to bring it as a carbon pesach and ran away. Somebody stole it. So you go ahead, you thought somebody stole it. So then you go ahead and you bring in another sheep. You bring a goat, let's say. Then you find your sheep. Now you have a goat and a sheep. What do? Chacham say, do whatever you want. They're both equal. Mitzvah barishain. It's a mitzvah in the first one. Let me ask you a question. Allah Lamaisa. Menachem Mateh is here. And Yosef is here. So they can't answer. You have a Sefer Torah. You pull out a Sefer Torah, you want to read it. So you go, and then you think maybe there's a mistake. So you put it back in the Aron Kodesh, and there's a second Sefer. But a guy comes, the Mumcha comes, says, no, it's fine. It's not Davok, it's perfect. What Sefer Torah do they have to use? Based on this Gemara, you have to use the first one. Mitzvah Berishon. I'm saying it's huh? Yeah, but that's the Yerishon. Or what about these goats? You also have first, second, and the Mavir and all the time with the goats. He didn't already use it. He just was goylal it. He prepared it. He decided in his mind he's going to use Sefer Torah 1. You ever thought about that? There's such a thing as mitzvah berishon and sheni? That's what they say. Yeah, could be they didn't. I don't know. I have to look again. Maybe they put it down on the bima. I don't know. Fine. We just turned to Amud Aleph Beis neshama Uri Ben Mattisyahu, and for the success in Gashmius and especially ruchnius of his grandchildren. However, if the second animal was the better one, so when it comes to Korban Pesach, if Korban Pesach is something that you eat, so something that you eat has to do with mufchar, and memela you bring from the second one. Okay? Now, Stam Azoy, another halacha l'maisa, real quick. The guy prepares Hanukkah candles, and he prepares them with candles, not with oil. And then somebody brought him oil. He said, "Oh, here's a bottle of oil. What do you do? I already prepared with the candles. Now I could do a mitzvah mufchar with the shemen." And they bring a raya from this Gemara that when you have a mitzvah mufchar, you go to the mufchar. No, the Allah Lamaisa. Omar Rav. I have a raya, both to Rav and Rabbi Yochanan, one from the Mishnah, from our Mishnah, one from the Braisa. Do we say that we use the first one or from the second category? Says the Gemara, Masnising will say the Rav, the raya is from our Mishnah like Rav. Diktani, Im shel shem meis, zeh sha'ala olav agur l'shem yiskayim tachtov. If the chatos dies, so you do another girl, zeh sha'ala olav agur, one out of the two replaces the dead guy. This is the picture of that. Azazel dies, but it doesn't matter. It's the same thing. If this guy dies, then this guy from the second group replaces him. It's mashma that only one guy replaces and this guy doesn't replace first. This guy remains where it is. And the second one, So in other words, like Rav, that it's not nidcha. So looking at this picture, just not to be confused, it says in the Mishnah, you take this guy from the second category and you replace the first guy. But this one from the first category stays and you don't say dachui. Braisa will say the Rabbi Yochanan, and the Braisa goes like Rabbi Yochanan diktani. It says in our Mishnah, Sheni, what do you do with the second one? Yira, it grazes. The confusion that we had in the beginning of the sugya, who is Mr. Sheni? Is the second one from the first group or the second one from the second group? The one that goes la'azazel should be standing alive. So the Gemara explains, my mashma, yo'amad chai v'loi shekvar amad. He learns Yomad Chai is a one-time chance, once in a lifetime, to stand up to be the Azazel. This guy, it's reversed. This guy died. This guy could stand up and be a man and be thrown off the cliff, but only once. Once he's rejected, he doesn't have another chance. So in Mela, he's rejected. It says in the pasuk, he's rejected. Yomad Chai, in the future, one time. It's a one-time deal. And that's it. So the pasuk is telling us that once he's rejected, he doesn't stand up again. Nan. It says in our Mishnah again. V'oid Omar Rabbi Yehuda. And Rabbi Yehuda says two things. Nishbach Adam Yomus HaMishtaleach. If the blood, so you have the two goats, and one of them you shechted and you received the blood in a cup, and the cup fell down and spilled, you don't have any blood left. So what do you do with the one, with the goat you're supposed to throw off the cliff? Yomas HaMishtaleach. You let him die. Now, as we'll see, there's actually two things that he argues, l'chayra. He says Yomos. We said that it's a carbon, rabim, tzibur, carbon, tzibur, there's no misa. Huh? Yeah. So that's another thing that he argues on. Yomos. But he's l'chayr saying also that it's rejected. Meis HaMishtaleach yishabach adam. And if the one that falls off the cliff dies, then you have to spill the blood. In other words, start from scratch, get two new goats, and you cannot use any of the original group. I could understand Rabbi Yehuda because he says that you could reject a live animal. Therefore, he's rejected, and that's why he needs to die. But according to Rav, that says that we don't reject live animals. Memela, l'chayra, the Mishnah doesn't go like Rav. I never said my Allah according to Rabbi Yehuda. I leave the Rabbanon. Adarabba, I have more proof to me. I'm like the Rabbim. I'm like Rabbanon. Look, it has to be that Rabbi Yehuda argues on Rabbanon two things. First of all, that you don't reject an animal. Rabbi Yehuda says, "Void, you reject the animal." He's arguing two things. He says that, A, we do reject, and Chacham say you don't reject a live animal. And the second thing is, what do you do with the rejection? Chacham say you let it graze. And Rabbi Yehuda says you let it die. So there's two machlokes in here. It makes sense that there's another machlokes. This is va'oid. What does va'oid mean? Chacham also admit that there's a rejection here. That's exactly why I said that the Mishnah is like Rav, not like Rabbi Yochanan. Tanan. Okay, you know what? Let's stop over here because it goes into over there. Have a wonderful day. Sorry. Chotasi avisi poshati. Shem alo izma magim b'sichadi noi. Adonai shmo b'kolim noi. Ima b'nei tishmor Adonai me'amoy. Imcha sifol amante v'rei. Wie sagen, was soll das in der Sonne? Das ist alles schon mal wirklich schon mal Boyke. Ja, das ist alles noch genau mehr Sätze mal bei mir du. Wie das ist so mir gerade so wenn ich so so Schibi. Heute bin bei Yoma bin bei Yoma. Schon mir kann mit dem so der Wochen viele Löwen schon so gut. Hast du? Was glaubst du mal grüber in Marome? What you say? Last day where what? Going back to America? Oy, boy. Where do you live again? No, so you get together with those guys in Flatbush?
I don't know who's in Flatbush yet, so we'll find out.
You have to go to Great Day. Yeshua, could you put him on the Flatbush group?
Yeah, he put me on.
Oh, you're on. Okay. You're not sleeping. You're not sleeping. Too nervous to drink. What? Oh, you're going where? Oh, you're going there too. It's very nice that you come late. Seriously. Some people, I'm late. I don't come. No, hop around, whatever you can hop around.
Ravelli, you need to unmute.
Mute.
Maybe we'll hear you now.
How about now?
How are you doing, Mordechai?
I think Gershon is messing with me. Gershon is the mess.
Good morning, Reb.
Avi, welcome back, Avi.
I was here yesterday. I was here Motzei Shabbat, and also thank you very much.
I'm losing it.
Good morning,
I
Reb.
told the guy I was here for the last 5 weeks straight. I thought, well, it's good to see you. Welcome back.
He was very silent yesterday.
I didn't know what the weather was.
Never argue with a chemist.
Report.
Actually, this is a new computer from the office. I'm trying to. You can see it's not lined up well. I've got to figure it out. It's a new camera. It's the technical annoyings.
Doris.
All right, I got to go get to a Brit Mila. Have a wonderful day, everybody.
Mazel tov.
See you in the morning.
Good morning, Rebelli.
What's up, sir? Look what you started, my friend. Look what you started.
Who are you talking to?
You hear me? I don't know if you hear me. Huh?
Shlomi Leitner. Is he frozen?
I think he's frozen.
He needs a
He's
hair
screaming
dryer.
into his mic and we don't hear him, we don't see him. He's all frustrated now.
Covering
Oh,
his
there he
mouth.
is. Shlomi, what's that stuff? Oh, he's connecting. Shlomi,
And now he's muted.
started a big thing. They
I'm
said
mute.
that it's going to be big. This idea of they did it in Teaneck, they did it, but we gotta continue it and we gotta grow it. Don't hear him.
Indeed.
Eli, we're doing Thursday night. I'm sure you saw that, right?
No, I didn't see.
And Yossi
You're
Klein.
on the program.
Yeah, of course. Yossi Klein. They Nisanel Gantz. Eli, you're speaking. You begin the chizuk. I said I don't do chizuk. I do daf. No, you're doing 25 minutes of chizuk. I said I'll do 5 minutes of alo. So he puts in 15 minutes of chizuk, the first time ever.
But Eli, you also have to be in a bathing suit.
Two piece.
And the jet ski.
Listen to Mark. Mark, he's looking for that thing.
That'll be like serious chizuk. I'm sure the guys will take chizuk from the guy.
We'll get you a nice
version.
We'll get you a nice
Bring him
Hawaiian
again.
shirt to put on over it, SpongeBob or something.
Yisrael, I said over the mice about the jet ski and the bathing suit at a Hasidic table. And I told them that there's a guy from Barn Park that had his Hasidic sons in the back seat, and they heard that. Was that the Maisa that you were upset about? Or there's another Maisa? Worse than that? Yeah. I know which one you're talking about. The one with the Levaya. Yeah, okay.
The Huizen. Yeah, the Levaya. Those two Buchrim, I met them gerade Schweiz time. Die has noch aus in Scheigets.
Oh, really?
It's a compliment, Ellie. It's a compliment.
Wow. That's funny. I told you when I lived in Beis Yisrael, I lived in Ungarische Heise over there when I was in the Mir. So I was schmoozing, I was arguing with one of the Yerushalmi kids over there, like a bacher. And all of a sudden, his mother screams from the porch. She thought we don't know Yiddish, we're American. She goes, "That is the Scheigitz. That is the Scheigitz." Oh my gosh! They really said that. We gotta convert them. We gotta get them to watch it. You know what? They have a good time though. It was a good time. It wasn't such a great story to say, but
I'll tell you a fact. I tell you, moitige Zach. It's unreal. Since my letter got into the mishpacha and the army, I'm getting. I would say close to 60, 70 people have come over to me. Srul, I read your letter. I'm letting you know, over a year, I'm on his share every single day on Torah anytime. Over 50, 60 Chassidish Shingalad. People that in Chulam. Remember the clip I sent you? I sent you a voice note from this Israeli Belzechuzid. I sent you a couple of weeks ago a voice note. The guy says, Srul, keep it up, you know. This is a Belze Chassidish man that he just learned English 6-7 years ago. He came to America because he has chemo. He has to go through chemo, whatever. So, unfortunately, he's like stuck over here now. And he says, whenever he has a down day, he says, you mamish, you liven up his day. And he's saying, he says, the system in Slan and Gemurah, this person brings a chias in it. He couldn't come. He couldn't.
See them sat in the back seat, didn't have.
He's a bucherim. This is a younger bucherim, 16, 17 old.
I'll put Shmooze Lemmer on their case.
By the way, also today the Lubavitchers they're finishing the Rambam Yomi for the 40th time.
40th time.
40th cycle.
How long is the cycle?
I think every
1
3
year.
years.
So we're doing it 40 years. Wow.
1 year to 3 years, depending which track you're doing.
Amazing what they do. You have Rambam Yomi, you have Yerushalmi Yomi. There's so much.
But they don't have the Daf Yomi.
They have the Daf Yomi.
Yerushalmi Yomi.
Not into it.
It's Yerushalmi Yomi.
They're not. Listen, Lubavitchers follow the Rambam and the what's it called, Shulchan Aruch Harav.
Right.
Ravella, you know, it's so funny. People ask me, so where are you staying in Baltimore? Oh, a friend of mine from Daf. How you guys in Daf? It's the funniest thing trying to explain to people. Never met. We're on Daf together.
That's I didn't have that either. It's a good thing you tell me. So you're staying by a guy that you never met.
I never met him before.
I'm upset. You should know. Now that we chop from Shlomi Leitner and those guys, you missed an opportunity. You should have taken it and you should have said, "Listen, who else in Baltimore could we get? And get together in a cafe. Each one flops down $10. You don't have to sponsor it. Each person pays for their lunch, and tell them how you stroll."
That's what we did. That's what we did in Cookie Corner.
Eli, I planned it in Dallas.
You're gonna want me to pay for you, so I'm not doing it.
Eli, I planned this thing in Dallas, in Dallas, Texas last week. It didn't work out. There's 7 guys that are down in the same shul that follow the shir. Three of the guys never knew the
other guys doing it.
It's amazing.
No. So how come we don't do it in Dallas? I'm hoping that Garcia is going to go to Dallas and do it. I hope.
I'll be back in Dallas this summer.
Thursday. And I told him I was coming over. I was just a few blocks away. When he heard I was coming over, he clicked off. He signed off. After the Daf. I think he couldn't handle it. He was too tired.
All right, boys, I'm going to go daven. We got it early. We got it early.
Early. Too early to go. Too early.
Have a wonderful day.
I don't know what to do. With the extra time,
Sorry for belly.
That's to say Karbonis before.
By the way,
Karbonis before. I do brachas to Karbonis and everything.
Before this year.
Rebelli, we nominated
before everything.
We nominated Reb Arya. He's going to be doing security at the Chasna. Is that okay?
Right, Tzadikim. Zag gesund, everybody. I'm out of here.
Great day, Rebelli.
Sei gesund.